Hello, everyone. Dr. Turpeau here, Black America's Love Doctor. Coming to you, answering questions and talking about topics such as love and relationships, as well as other topics of interest. So, if you like these videos, please like them, subscribe to this channel, and definitely share these videos because you may find some of this information not only helpful to you, but helpful to people that you know. And so please click on share and send this video to others you think might benefit. Okay? All right, so let's dive into the question for this evening. And she says, Dear Dr. Turpeau, about a month ago, my ex-boyfriend and I decided to give our love another chance. She says, I live on the East Coast and he is currently living in New Mexico, and he and I have not seen one another since our breakup in 2004. Ours was the first interracial relationship I was ever involved in. One of the reasons we broke up was because he wanted to get married right away and I was not ready. His persistence eventually drove us apart. Since then, a lot has gone on in both our lives, and we feel we are ready to get together and start over. Is this a good move? I was always taught that you never buy back a car that you sold. Going back is one of the worst things a couple can do if they already decided to break up. It has been a long time since we were together, but for some reason I am really happy about it. He is a good man and a good provider, but I was just not ready to be married at that time in my life. My family adores him, and he is really glad we are giving it another chance. Do we have a good chance at making this work? Alrighty, so we got a faraway love affair going on here, so let's talk about this. So to answer your question, is this worth giving it another try? Well, viewer, if he is all that he is cracked up to be, based on what you're saying, I think that then by all means, I think you should move out to New Mexico and try to give your relationship another try. Now, I think he should also consider maybe moving out to where you are. I think you said the East Coast, and maybe giving your relationship another try. So you all need to talk about this, see who's in transition, see where each of you are in your lives, and try to give this relationship another try. And I think one of you should be willing to move out to the other. But if neither of you is willing to relocate to be with the other person, then I would say that no, you're getting back together with him is not a good idea. Okay, and that's because I am not a fan of long distance relationships. Now, is it possible that long distance relationships can work out? Of course it is, but the probability of them working out is not very strong. Because there's a lot of things to consider. It just puts a whole lot of strain on the relationship. When you have these long-distance relationships, you try to see each other during the holidays. You take sick leave off from work. You take vacation time off from work, and you try to create these long weekends and work out your calendar. And you promise and commit that you're going to see each other this amount of frequency during the month, and before you know it, it starts fading off and you don't hold true to that frequency. And so the thing about it is that when you do visit each other and you have these excursions, you have these interludes, it becomes, it's like wildfire. I mean, you have these brief, passionate, romantic interludes with each other, and everybody's just loving it. You're just having a grand old time because you're squeezing in all that time in just a few days, all that passion, all that love, you're squeezing it in. You just have a blowout, wonderful experience with each other. So it's passionate, it's romantic, and it's fun and enjoyable. Unfortunately, though, these brief interludes tend to distort the reality and the nature of your relationship. Everybody's putting their best foot forward. Everybody's trying to be the best that they can be on their best behavior, and which is a good thing. But this is skewed, and you're not getting a realistic picture. So I believe that all relationships should go through different probationary periods where you're testing the relationship to see if it's going to work. And I believe before you get into a real committed situation like engagement or marriage, you need at least a year of a probationary period before you get committed in these types of situations. The thing about long distance relationships is that they are disqualified from this year long probationary period, and they're disqualified because it's just because of being skewed. You packing in 1 year, you can pack in only like 3 or 4 of these long weekends with each other, and that's not really a year's time. That's just a brief, skewed time with each other during these brief interludes. And so these long distance relationships are disqualified from this year probationary period that I recommend. Relationships to really get that full year of getting to know each other, you need face-to-face time. And I'm not talking about FaceTime on an Apple or Mac. I'm talking about real face-to-face time. You need to be in close proximity with each other. Okay? You need to reveal your true selves. You need to reveal your real selves, which takes close proximity and a long amount of time, a significant amount of time to get to know each other. You need to get to know each other in all different situations and contexts. You need to get to know each other when you're not feeling well. Excuse me, when you don't feel like being bothered with each other, when you're upset, when you're going through different crises. You need to see people in all seasons of their lives, in many different situations and contexts. And so when you can see somebody in all these environments and be with them, and even when they're irritated and don't feel like being bothered with you, and you see them in these, not only in the positive good times, but in the down times, when they have the not so positive emotions and feelings. And so a variety of settings and different situations is what's going to help you get to know people. So nothing beats being in close proximity for a good amount of time, because that way you'll have more balanced data to make a smart decision about one of the most important, if not the important choices you can make, is who your mate is going to be. And so we shouldn't throw this up to the wind, and with whims and emotions and passion. We need to really think through an important decision about who we're going to be with. And so being in close proximity for a significant amount of time will give you a much more balanced data and sober assessment about whether or not you need to be with that person. So now neither one of you is willing to relocate to be with the other, to fulfill your destiny of being together, then I highly recommend that you do not pursue this relationship. But if you are willing to, then by all means go ahead and do that. But if you're not, then I recommend that you start looking for love and shop for love more locally. Okay? Harmonious wishes. That's all.